Bam, 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 bam. Check. Check, check. Make a microphone with the check, check, 1, 2. How's it going, everyone? Is there anybody out there? Can you hear me now? I'm knocking on your door in your dreams, you see. Oh yeah. Good music, good stuff. Let's see here. If there's anybody out there, welcome back to the D-Dub Gaming Network. It's been a good 2 months since I streamed, so I figured why not. Really has been a while. I don't know. It's not. I guess the main reason I kind of stopped streaming after I streamed the last time was because for the first several streams I was going through just the Elgato capture software. And that's easy enough, but all I can really do is put this face cam, put it up in the corner, and that's pretty much it. And so then I started going through OBS, and I don't know what happened, but every time I stream now, the quality of the game is like, I don't know, maybe right around like 400p or maybe even 240. Like it's pretty bad. It's not even 720. And it was working fine before. It was working great before. So I don't know exactly what the deal is or what happened. I really have no idea. So let's see. What am I going to be playing tonight? Might just be playing some random games here. Whoopsie. Crystal Kite, welcome back. Tadida, it's been a while, dude. How you doing? Let's see. Oh, dude, happy birthday. What Zelda book did you get? Guessing it's probably one of the big ones, like Barnes and Noble, Walmart has them. There's like the Hyrule Historia, Hyrule Compendium, the Breath of the Wild art book or whatever. There's like the white one of that, and then there's just a regular one. Like there's the one for like Breath of the Wild, and then there's the other one I think is the white one where it's got all the Breath of the Wild stuff, and then like a fat section of it on just the Guardians. Like there's like a couple different versions of that. Yeah, the red one, is that the Historia or Compendium? I think it's one or the other. I've looked at all of them, and I've thought about buying them. They're all like, I don't know, at Walmart they have one that's open and it's like $28, but usually like Barnes and Noble they're all like $40. And I'd like to get it at some point. There's also another one that's it's cheaper, or no, it's not. It's not cheaper. I meant it's older, or like it's about like the first couple Zelda games. And then if I'm not mistaken, I think there's one that's just on the very first Zelda game. Let's see, I'm trying to I don't know why it's not letting me change the thumbnail. Because that picture is terrible. All those books are heavy, but they're all like really well made, and there's a lot of stuff to go through. I forget who makes it. I have like the Mario history one, and then I also have they have it at like Target. It's like the Final Fantasy. There's the first one that's like Final Fantasy 1 through 6, and then there's the other one that's 7, 8, and 9. And that's the one that I got. But I'd still like to get the one on the first 6, because it'd be cool to have like the stuff on like the Super Nintendo, like all the earlier games. Oh, there it is. Duh. I guess we'll go with that. Why are you an artist? Do you do art? I always wish I was good at art, but I'm just not. My kid is gonna be 7 in a couple months, and he drew like a tiger the other day, and I was like, man, that's 10 times better than what I drew at that age, and it's almost better than what I could draw even now. Oh, you're gonna get the champion book? Nice. let's go to customize here. I've been playing probably too much Tetris 99. I don't know, you ever post your art on like Twitter or something? I'll check it out, because most artists say they suck. There's some amazing artists that say that they suck. And I'm like, come on, you are just absolutely amazing. Sometimes they know it, and they're just kind of being humble, or whatever you want to call it. Wow, what kind of stuff have you attempted so far? Let's see, what do I want my icon to be? I think tomorrow I'm going to buy the physical version of this game. I saw it at Target the other day. I've thought about just buying the DLC for it. But I want to unlock all these icons. And if you see in the back, this cool theme here. Like, I want to get like a poster of like all of Zelda 1 with like the map kind of like that. Like, instead of it being kind of straight up, like top down, more at like that kind of angle. That, or like a Link to the Past map would be pretty sweet. Like, the Donkey Kong one's okay. I got the Fire Emblem for playing a couple weekends ago. And then the rest are all generic. Like, I'm hoping they add some new ones, because that Zelda one probably made me put in probably 3 or 4 hours over the past, like, day or two. Really? That's doing, like, a portrait of someone like Eminem. I mean, some people have that stuff down. Some people have done portraits forever, but they, I don't know, when it comes to the lack of symmetry between like the eyes and the two different sides of the face, it like it's a really hard touch to get down. You see even like top tier artists do like tattoos of like portraits of people, or like kids or babies, and sometimes they have like, it looks like a lazy eye. So portraits are pretty tough. This is kind of strange playing on the big screen. I've been playing a real lot of Switch in handheld mode. It's been making me kind of think about getting a Switch Lite. Whoops. So yeah, man, happy birthday. Hopefully it was good. It's nice to be young. After like age like 23, that's when it's just kind of like, oh yeah. Gotta say, this music sounds really good in headphones. I was listening to it last night after I unlocked this skin, but of course, mobile speakers, like small speakers, they never sound good. See, and I can never win at Tetris 99. I always come in... The highest I've come in was 3rd. And I've done that, like... probably like 20 times. Otherwise, it's like 4th, 5th, 6th. And sometimes you just have like a bad match. Sometimes my best Tetris matches are the first one. So like this one has gone pretty good. It hasn't been like on fire. But sometimes it actually is on fire, where I'm like, whoa. You got a box Japanese Game Boy? Like, old school 80s brick? Or like Game Boy Color? Or, Pocket, regular? Maybe the Pokemon one? So I've thought about getting one of those. Like the Japanese Game Boy one. Or Pokemon Game Boy. That thing's like not... It's not too stupidly expensive, but as with everything, it's starting to go up in price. But you can still get one for... It's not too ridiculous. Here's where things start going downhill. Nice. What kind of shape is it in? Says there's 5 people watching. Welcome, 5 people. Everybody, how's it going? I feel like it's the same with my videos. Like, as soon as it goes up, there's like quite a few people that are watching. But I don't know who they are. People don't leave comments. They don't even hit the like button. Which, speaking of, hit that like button right now. Do it. Slap like. That's what I was gonna ask. How was the box? Because usually that's the kind of thing. Box would be beat up. But you never know. Sometimes like a Game Boy would be in completely mint condition with the box being just kind of beat. Whoopsie. Yeah, I was surprised when I unlocked this skin last night, like at the bottom where it says watch out, how it's done in like 8-bit. Like I realized that Nintendo actually put quite a bit of effort into this game, and I really wish that they would do it with more games. I wish they would have several different versions of like something classic like this where you get the online and then it's actually worth it because there's a version of it that's newer, up to date, has DLC for, has like all the little extra touches that just make you realize that like they actually gave a crap. But then again, you don't know if it's just like the Tetris team or the people that they hired on for this game to do it. If they're just like, hey, Tetris is one of the greatest games ever, we're gonna give it its due respect. Or if it was like ordered from high above, like, hey, I love this game, make sure you put all the right touches on it. Yeah, that's what I'm down for. And at first I didn't really like this game. At first, I mean, I was like, oh, sweet, Tetris. But I've gotten used to it. I still enjoy the Game Boy Tetris. I mean, I've been playing that since I was like 3 years old. So I got that original brick Game Boy when I was like 3. So like 1990. Probably, I'd have to ask my mom, but it was probably within a year of the thing coming out. So I would have been 3, 4. And I remember, like, one of my first memories that I have is of the Game Boy. And this, I don't know, this night where it was, we either slept there or we were just visiting and we were, like, laying on the floor, like, falling asleep and playing our Game Boys. As you do as a kid, you just kind of pass out wherever. And you wake up later and you don't even think about how you got back to your house or whatever. But yeah, one of my first memories is just of the Game Boy and like my brother playing like, I don't know, I guess Mega Man 2 on the Game Boy, maybe Mega Man 3, and me just playing Tetris in that green screen, green or brown. And it's like kind of crazy to think that far back and be like, man, one of my first memories that my brain actually can recall is of the damn Game Boy. Ah, crap. Usually I can get a last couple lines, even when it's building up to the top like that. Zelda 64 fan, what's up? What game you playing? I have yet to play any of the SNES Online. Oh really, DS Mario Kart? That's one that I don't think I ever played. Which it's weird because, like, sure you can go online and get it and stuff, but like, you go on like the 3DS eShop and you can find Mario Kart 7. You can still go to GameStop and find like Mario Kart 7, but like on the eShop and stuff, it's almost like Mario Kart DS, like the first one. It's like after it came out, or after like 7 came out, they just completely took the first one, Mario Kart DS, they just completely wiped it from the database, and it's like you can't find it on the DS at all. Like it's not on there. It's not on the eShop. There's like no mention of it, and you would think that they would still just try to sell it because people would buy it. So I remember when I first got my DS back, like I had a DS like way back in the day, and I played several games on it, and then I ended up getting rid of it. And then I didn't have one, whoops, I didn't have one until like last year when I finally got one again, because I got the 2DS. Oh man, this one didn't work out too well. Oh, we got it. Oh, too late. Of what, Mario Kart? DS? Or do you mean the, are you talking about Mario Kart GBA? Alright, so how does the Super Mario World, how does that work online? Is it just like a pass the controller, like, digitally? Or do you just mean you were playing with your friend sitting like on the side of you. Because I still really haven't gone through the games. Like, I started playing Super Mario World, like tennis for like a couple minutes, but I didn't really look at like the online, which I know soccer and tennis, those both play online. And I'm not even sure what the other ones are. Like, I don't think there are many that play online. I think it's just those couple, like the sports ones, and maybe like the Puyo Tetris, maybe. That would be a game that you would think would at least be online. But yeah, I didn't really look. And it kind of goes for the same, like when the NES games first came out, people were like, oh, there's online functionality. And I was like, oh, cool, but I never actually saw, like, what it was. So, you know, it's kind of the same for both, which is a bummer, because, like, I would give them the attention. I just don't, like, you can't easily interact with your friends. Ah, come on. You can't. Nice. Ooh, that was a close one. You can't easily interact. Oh, come on. That's what's called a mispress. But yeah, since you can't just easily interact with your friends online, it makes it, you know, it just kind of makes it impossible. Well, not impossible, but it's more of a hassle. You like the same as SNES, or just normally? Yeah, that's what I figured, aside from soccer, tennis. I'm curious to see what the next handful of games are going to be that come out, and when do they actually come out, because we might not see SNES game, we might not see a new one for, it could be till like the start of the new year. They can just decide not to do it, and you know, so that's kind of a bummer, because that just means that the model that they did it after, and doing it monthly, and releasing the trailer, and releasing the game, and seeing all the thumbs downs, it kind of is a problem, because it kind of means that they listened, or it annoyed them enough that they were sick of hearing that. They were sick of seeing it. So now they're like, well, you know, screw you guys. We're just gonna stop doing it monthly, tell you that we're done dropping these games monthly, and now you can just sit and wait and guess and anticipate and sit in anxiety, and we might just not hear anything for the next 3 months. And at that point, there's nothing you can do. You can complain, which of course will happen anyways, and then we finally get the September Direct, you know, for 2020, and then they switch it up again. They're like, oh, this time we're bringing select N64 games, but now we're not just gonna release them whenever, we're changing it again, so stay tuned for more details. And then people buy the year subscription, they re-up the service, and then Nintendo just sits there and waits. And they're just like, we know you want these games. Like, you want to... Oh, come on. Damn it. They're just like, hey, we know you want to know more about this, but you can wait. And by that point, like, the next Switch will be coming out or whatever. It'll be like 2021, 2022. That's completely a game that would use online multiplayer. Like, it's one of the old games that could use it the best. But I mean, if you think about it, like, know, some of the old consoles went online, like Super Famicom, Sega Genesis, but those weren't really online. I mean, the Genesis kind of was. It had some real online games. And then you think about, like, the Dreamcast, that thing really went online. You played against other people. Like, Xbox's whole legacy, like the Xbox Live, that came out, I don't know, a year or two into the original Xbox's life. And some of those games aren't really around. I guess some people still play them, like Halo 2 and stuff like that. You can still, I think you can still play it on an original Xbox, I think. If not, you, I don't know, you're like booting off of your Xbox 360 or Xbox One or whatever, or both, and doing it that way. But it's like, when is the... That was a good match. But it's like, when is... You know, when's the next wave of, like, not classic mini systems? Because, of course, we got the Sega Genesis Mini coming out in next week, the 20th. But it's like, when are... And even still, there's a modding community and retro community. Like, you can still get your Dreamcast going online on some of these old games. But it's like, when is the next wave of, like I said, not like classic systems, but like, when are some of these companies going to bring back some of these old games, like Dreamcast games or original Xbox games, and just make them online again, like on a Nintendo Switch? Like, I don't know, like, put like NFL 2K from like the Dreamcast and make it online, or like NFL Blitz or Power Stone or some PlayStation 1 games, PlayStation 2 games, even bring back some of like the SOCOMs of the world, and like the very first like real hardcore like console online games. Like one of my favorites is like Quake Arena, or like Unreal Tournament / Championship, like both for the Dreamcast, and then it was also on Xbox. But like, that's what I want to see, is some revival of some old school games that either were online or were never online, or they were, and then after the system went away, they weren't. Like, I wonder how hard that would be to really actually do. And that way, instead of getting like a Sega Genesis Mini or like a Sega Genesis cartridge collection for the Nintendo Switch, just having them drop in the eShop, where it's 15-year-old games that you can go online with again. What do you mean Animal Crossing will only let you play SNES or NES if you have the online service? I mean, that would actually be kind of cool, I guess, if they put, maybe not like a bunch of games where it's locked behind Animal Crossing, because that would just piss people off. But I know what you mean, like the old school games where if they're in the service, then you can play them in Animal Crossing. I mean, you would think that they would hopefully do that with the games that are available anyway. That way it's just there. The games are already there. You just put it in Animal Crossing. It's only the games that are already in your online service subscription. And then it's like the ode to the old games, where you still do it anyway. I mean, yeah, that kind of makes me wonder, because I didn't really think about that. I haven't thought about the old school way that they used to do it. So that, I guess, is a possibility. But it'd almost be kind of weird, like, other than just to, you know, bring it back to, like, the old school way of Animal Crossing. It's like, you would almost think it would just be, like, where you would go to the TV or the VCR, you would find a Nintendo Switch or 3DS, and then you would bring it over to like the TV or walk up to it on your like TV stand, and then it would just have like the titles or the box art, and then it would just say, hey, we know that you're playing Animal Crossing, and since you're more than likely hooked up online, like, here's the box art, go, you know, if you want to play these games, just go to the eShop and just sort of like direct you there like that. Versus having to, I guess, sort of re-emulate the games to play through a game. You'd basically be... That'd be kind of weird. Because it wouldn't be like they're built into the game, it'd be kind of like they're built into the online service. Then you play a game, and then the game goes online and pulls the game from the online into a different game. Like, that would just be like a loophole. Maybe that's the way back to Virtual Console. Which, I mean, I guess I understand like everyone's gripe on that. I don't really care too much. It would just, because Virtual Console is just a name. It's just all they need to do is just offer some of the titles that they used to have. It's like really not that hard. Instead of maybe physically doing it or doing it physically later, you put some of the better Super Nintendo games on Virtual Console or on the eShop. Or like, I mean, not really DS or 3DS. Cause I've played some of like the 3DS games that are on like the Wii U, and those just don't work that well. Like, those games are definitely much better on the actual system. Yeah, GameCube should definitely be part of the online, where it's like, instead of waiting for every year, it's like if they just dropped, I mean, we got Turok on the eShop, and even though it didn't have, right, we got Turok and Turok 2. I didn't play either of those because they kind of just, they dropped so quick, but those didn't have the online to them. But if the online was built, well, I mean, it wasn't on them, but people still were excited and bought them anyway. But it's like, even if it was built into it, and then they just dropped something like that, where that's a Nintendo 64 game, even though Nintendo didn't do it, it was the other company there. But if Nintendo did it, and then they just grabbed a couple GameCube games, or like I said, and maybe did like where they release it digitally first and then physically later, and they just one day randomly drop like Mario Galaxy on the eShop, and then maybe you see some Game Boy Advance games, because that's something I'd be interested in, is Game Boy Advance. Like, sure, you can emulate it, and Nintendo's trying to bring down a bunch of different, like, emulation sites, or at least the files for it. But then if they just randomly released some Game Boy Advance game, and then 2 months later there's another, like, a GameCube game, and then another Game Boy game, another Game Boy Advance game, another game that was on the Wii. Like, that would make people more than happy, to the point where they're like, yeah, now we really, it doesn't matter if we were to ever get a Virtual Console again, because between the NES, the SNES, some of these Game Boy Advance games, like, we're pretty much getting everything that would have been on there. Because when you talk about Virtual Console, like, people pretty much think of the ability to buy like Zelda 1, A Link to the Past, Super Mario 3, or yeah, something like Mario Galaxy for the Wii, or I guess not really GameCube. Like GameCube is kind of that lost area where there's just, aside from other companies doing it, Nintendo hasn't really, they haven't brought back anything from the GameCube, like that I can think of, other than Wind Waker. You know, Mario Sunshine hasn't been brought back. I can't think of anything that's, pretty much the only thing from the GameCube that's made a comeback is like, you know, we got Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles coming out, and that's still not even out yet. I'm trying to think of like the like the major players. Like I'm trying to think. I don't think like Soul Calibur 1, which was on the GameCube with Link in it, I don't think they ever like re-released Soul Calibur 1 on anything, I don't think. Which, even though when I think of Soul Calibur, I don't think of the GameCube. I kind of just think of Link afterwards, even though that was a game I owned, but I originally played Soul Edge in the arcade, and then it was Soul Calibur like the following year, and then the Dreamcast actually came out, so I don't really see that as like a GameCube game. But you had, like I said, like Wind Waker. That's kind of the only title that's been kind of brought back, and even then that wasn't like, it's not like it was a port, it was like a full-on resurrection, because they, you know, they redid the whole thing, and they put way more work into it than a lot of people give it credit for, because it wasn't just like a straight port, or like they just built a like a windshield for it and then just like placed it on. It's like they did a lot of work to make it so beautiful, but there's not any GameCube games that ever made their way to a newer console, or like even were just ported. Like even Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, that's pretty much a remaster. It's not even just a straight version of it. So I don't know if that's just something that's just way too hard for them to do. My guess would be probably, because there's obviously money to be made. So I don't know. But it's like, yeah, you think about, you know, I'll type it in real quick, like, you know, of course, Twilight Princess was on the GameCube. That had a Wii release and then Wii U release, but you got Resident Evil 4, which isn't Nintendo. I mean, it's its own thing, and that game's been around since forever. But Super Smash Bros. Melee, that should be a game that still can be played online on current systems. Like, that game could probably still sell for $60, along with whatever. Say they made like a couple DLC games for it, or characters for it. Mario Sunshine never got any more love. Metroid Prime, hopefully the trilogy is coming at some time. Luigi's Mansion, okay, that one did get remastered, but those are pretty much like all the top tier games. Like Mario Kart, that game's still on there, it never got anything. Animal Crossing, that never got, like, you almost think that would have came out in, yeah, this came out in 2000, yeah, Animal Crossing came out on September 15th, 2002, North America. You would almost think like 4 or 5 years later they would have just somehow put it on the DS or something like that. No, pretty much the only Nintendo ones are the Wind Waker, which is a remake. Twilight Princess sort of counts, but not really, because it came out on the Wii and just so happened to come out, 2006. and it just so happened to come out on the GameCube, which at that point nobody was even thinking about, which is probably why it didn't sell that well, which is probably why the game it fetches a fair price. There's not really many out there. And then Luigi's Mansion, which only got remade last year. So that's 3 games. You got like Fire Emblem, Path of Radiance, that's a Nintendo game. Time Splitters 2, that says Nintendo. F-Zero GX, that's just pretty much been dead. There's just so many different games like Resident Evil 2, Monster House, Spider-Man 13, Kirby Air Ride. People have asked for that to be kind of remade. You got Pokemon XD Gale of Darkness. That's not a game I have any clue about. You had a 007 game, Star Fox Adventures. So that's a Nintendo game. That's one also that I never played. Pikmin. Pikmin is on like the Virtual Console. So that's a GameCube game that more than likely was just brought straight over. I don't know if that looked any better on the Wii than it did on the GameCube. My guess would be barely, because the Wii wasn't an HD system like at all. It needed component cables, and they did come out eventually, but most of the stuff that was on it was like 540p or 540i or whatever, so not even HD. And those are pretty much the big ones. You got like Sonic, you got Mario Parties, like I said, Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, Soul Calibur 2 here, Super Monkey Ball, you got like Crash, you got the Four Swords on GameCube. None of those. Burnout, Simpsons Road Rage, Geist, Alien Hominid, Tales of Symphonia. I never even heard of some of these. Metal Gear Solid, Twin Snakes, I got that. Doshin the Giant, that's like a sought-after game. Beautiful Joes, Star Fox Assault. See, I thought there was only one Star Fox game on GameCube. Like, I'm looking through this list and I'm like, man, I need to get my collection going. Oh, really? You can catch Shadow Pokemon? Star Wars was a GameCube game that's coming to Switch. Yeah, that's true, but even then, that's not Nintendo. That's kind of a third-party company, whoever owns the thing. So same here, Pikmin 2, Prince of Persia, Mario Party 4, Phantasy Star Online, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil Code Veronica X, 1080 Snowboarding Avalanche, well, so it's not 1080 snowboarding, Samurai Jack, WarioWare, Wave Race Blue Storm, Crazy Taxi. Those are like, this is the end of that multi-platform release where games started being across all platforms. So even something like Crazy Taxi came out in November of 2001, so that's a year. Yeah, that's like a year, almost 2 years after it came out on the Dreamcast, so like 18 months later. That was probably a worked on version that was just sort of ported to the Dreamcast for port and money's sake. Mario Power Tennis, Crash Tag Team Racing, so I never even knew that that was on the GameCube. Wow, SSX Tricky. I always thought that was exclusive PS2. Man, I gotta play that. That's one of my favorite games. That's my favorite snowboarding game ever. I knew Ikaruga was on the GameCube. You got Mario Party 6, Toadstool Tour, Mario Golf, Super Monkey Ball Adventure, Donkey Konga, Need for Speed, Simpsons Hit and Run, SSX 3, Tony Hawk, American Wasteland, NBA or FIFA Street, like Mega Man Collection. So a lot of these games were owned by other people. Man, the GameCube list is long. Wow. NintendoLife.com has just a really easy list of all the games, and I guess I didn't realize how many were on the GameCube. Oh, okay, so A lot of them don't even have the cover arts for them. Like Outlaw Golf, that's a game that I own. But man, Ed, Edd and Eddy, Donkey Konga 2, Pac-Man, Ultimate Spider. You start getting like the Call of Duty games, Donkey Konga 3. I didn't realize there was so many Donkey Kongas either. Yeah, Sonic Adventure 2 on Switch. You would think with Sega just being, they're just a publisher now. So I guess they have studios that are still making games, but you know, they're putting out games on the Switch and on Xbox, and I think they got some stuff too on PS4. So you would think when they put out a Sega Genesis collection across for all 3 platforms that even if the thing doesn't sell ridiculously crazy, that they're getting, you know, 3 separate checks in from the different systems, that they would see that people, it's either that they don't want to do it for some reason, which almost makes no sense, because even if you don't, you know, people do stuff that they don't want to for money every single day that this world exists. So even if they didn't want to, there's money to be made, and you kind of, in the corporate world, you don't say no to money. So maybe it's that they can't do it, but it's like, you know, every year it's, you know, just a couple months ago we got the Sega Genesis collection on Nintendo Switch, and it's a re-release of the Sega Genesis collection that has been done over and over and over for the mini systems. And I guess I get that it's sort of the first, well, even then it's not the first time that like that same chunk of Sega Genesis games has been brought out, because it's on the GameCube and it's on the PS2. So that's not really an excuse, but so that just came out, what, 6-7 months ago, maybe a year tops? I don't think so, because like I bought it when it came out, and that was, yeah, maybe 8 months tops, maybe like the end of last winter. So, and then here we are a couple months later, which it almost feels like the thing has already been out and has already had its time and has stopped selling, and that's the new Sega Genesis Mini, because people started reviewing that thing so early. And I was in GameStop the other day, and I saw like the pre-order for it with the empty box on the counter, and I was like, oh, that's right, that thing isn't even out yet. And it just felt like, oh, it's already been out, you know, it's had its time, it's made its money, moving on to the next thing. But that's not the case. So then they put that out, and it's like, well, when is the time gonna come where maybe not really the Sega Saturn, but like, when are they gonna bring back some of like the Sega CD games? Or when are they gonna bring out some of the Sega 32X games? When are they gonna put out some of the Sega Dreamcast games? Like, when are they ever gonna bother with that? I mean, I know Sega Saturn emulation is kind of terrible, but some people have figured it out, so there's got to be some way to do it. It's almost the same with like the 64, where, like I'm saying, it's almost like, I guess, like Sega CD, 32X, Saturn, Dreamcast, and, well, it's almost like not even the Dreamcast, because Sega did put out that 4-game collection, which was Sonic Adventure, Crazy Taxi, and what were the 2 other games? And I mean, that was just like, when you think of all the Sega Dreamcast games, you look at that collection, you're like, really? Like, these 4 games? So I don't know if just Sonic Adventure and Crazy Taxi were like super easy to port onto the 360. But it's like, is there ever going to be a collection for any of those games? Like, are they ever going to get to see the light of day again? Because it's, yeah, I mean, Dreamcast, 64, GameCube, 32X, and Sega Saturn, those are like the systems where the games have just, they're just like in a virtual graveyard. where if you don't own the disc, you can't play it. And it's like I said, in the era of, like, it doesn't seem like it, but if you go and look at, like, a list of just the amount of, like, either straight ports or HD ports, HD remastering, and I mean, all these words are sort of the same. It just kind of depends on the amount of work that they actually put into each, like, game. Like, it's sort of a different definition for each release. But it's like, yeah, whether it's a HD port or a full remaster or a remake, when you go and look at, like, a list of the amount of those that have actually come out in the past, like, 2 years, you actually start to go, like, wow. Like, it's like, yeah, I looked at all of them as they came out and went, oh, nice, we're getting this. Oh, nice, we're getting that. Oh, we're getting Battle for Bikini Bottom, like, HD remake. We're getting, I mean, we just got Final Fantasy VIII remaster, which, I mean, it is a remaster. It sort of doesn't look like it. It almost just looks like just the characters are HD, but when you actually look at it side by side with the PS1, you kind of realize that they did put some sort of, like, filter over the original polygon, and it smooths it out. But then we just got Grandia, and, like, what else are we getting? And you look at the list of all these remakes and HD ports and stuff that have come out, and it's, like, staggering, but a lot of the games are, like, I don't know, it's like even with that Star Wars game that's coming to Switch, it's like, sure, it's a good game, but that's not, like, one of those top-tier games. Like, it almost makes you wonder, like, even during the Wii U dying out, it's like, why, if the Wii U had put out maybe a dozen GameCube games, like, onto the thing, and just, like, straight ported them, whether it was, like, I don't, Mario Party 5, or 3, or 2, and, like, Pokemon Snap, and I don't know, whatever else was on the GameCube out of that whole list. The Movie King / XXX. What's going on? I don't think I've seen your name. I don't think I've seen your name before. How's it going? Thank you for stopping by. As well as Zelda N64 fan and Crystal Kite. You guys are awesome. Thanks for stopping by. Thanks for hanging out with me. Oh. Turn on some lights here. Oh wait, I don't think you can see them. Sup? Hi? No? Good. Just be the guy that responds with one word. Mm-hmm. Yep. Nah. Eh. Yeah. Well, the Movie King / XXX, is that like a Vin Diesel reference? Or like joke / tribute screen name? Or is that you making them XXX films? Like Etika yelling out, poor Etika. I miss that guy, but him yelling out the window of his building when they were trying to, like, plow down his door. I just make a lot of porn. I just want you guys to leave me alone. All I do is just make lots and lots of porn. Now please go. Yeah, Tetris 99. It's on the Nintendo Switch, and if you yeah. If you borrow the Nintendo Switch yearly online service, then this game is yours temporarily. Yeah, when this game came out, I was kind of like, I mean, I played a lot of iterations of Tetris, and over the years there's been, like, you know, even the other day I was looking at some of the ones at GameStop for, like, the Wii, where it's like, I don't know, they started coming up with all these weird names for Tetris, like, you know, Tetris Twist, Tetris Colors, Tetris Generations. I mean, it sort of almost felt like Sonic and Tetris got like the same types of like names for them. So it's like Sonic and Tetris Colors, Sonic and Tetris Generations. But yeah, I've played a bunch of these games throughout the years, whether it was like PS2, Nintendo DS, and at some point I started to like hate the colored blocks and like the transparent block that's down at the bottom, that's like the filler space. That used to bug me to no end, and I used to like absolutely hate it. I mean, there's somewhere you can turn it on and off. Like in this game, you can turn that block at the bottom off. But you get so used to it as like a guide that when it ends up not being there and you're just looking at the block going across the top, it almost like you start dropping them in the wrong place. So it's like, it's one of those things where I just see it as like a handicap that's just been used so long that when you turn it off, it messes you up. But I used to absolutely hate it. And then there's some games where the actual block that's dropping is transparent and you can't change it. There was one like that was on, I think, the PS2, and I just absolutely couldn't stand it. And I always just wanted like the original NES version to come out, and it just never has. And then when this came out, I was like, cool, but like, come on. I was like, I just want that original feeling of Tetris again. And it just seemed like they won't budge on it. And that's one also where the original Tetris has like, it's never been on anything other than the NES. So, I mean, you can emulate it, but if you want the original music, which is much better than like the techno-y stuff, like the original Tetris song has been techno since, I don't know, 1999 or 2000, when all these like techno versions of the game started coming out, and that's cool. Man, look how many. I needed a long block. Well, the Movie King, I mean, there's 4 people watching, and one of them is me on my cell phone, and one of them is you, so go follow and watch the Movie King, and follow D-Dub too. Go and subscribe to his channel. And you're just trying to get a Nintendo Switch? Well, that's good. Having a Switch it's great. It got me back into gaming. Well, now it says 5 watching. So, no, you're not the only one here. You're just the only one that's commented in the past, like, minute or two. Because other people are playing, whatever, Super Nintendo online. Why, the Movie King? What is your channel? Let's see, I'll go to your channel. Everything just disappeared. Little Official Supreme Brother YV's podcast. So I don't know what your channel actually is. I would say come up with some actual titles though, like when you just kind of upload and it just uploads as the date. That gives no inclination as to what you're doing. Then you can also just go to like Google Play or whatever if you have like a phone. I'm guessing you probably film on a phone, or at least have a phone. You can just type in like photo editor or like YouTube thumbnail editor. You can at least come up with something where it's like a picture of your face or of a scene, and at least put some, letters on it or words, and that way it could at least say what the video is or what it does, what the point of it is. That's at least a start. Like, you gotta at least have a little bit of something. I mean, that's like the old school way, like where you would just see like July 3rd 2001, and then it's just this blurry mess of like mid-video where the like YouTube just sort of picks a thumbnail for you. So yeah, that'd be probably a good start. Oh, damn, I almost had it. Playing Minecraft, I would say those are good tips. I mean, it depends. Like, I don't know what, I mean, you're the movie king / XXX, so I don't know exactly what that means. Like I said, I was like, are you the movie king / Vin Diesel XXX? Or are you trying to make them XXX movie kings? You know? So that's a start. Like I said, based off your going to your channel and just looking for 8 seconds, all I saw was dates and blurry, mid-clipped photos that YouTube more than likely picked out for you. So it was just a blurry sort of face where it looks like the camera is about to go from pointing here to here, and you just get this like blur of movement, and it's like you don't know what the video is. You don't know like what's gonna be in it. You have to click to find out. But if it doesn't look compelling, or at least have some sort of interest that, you know, people that actually like subscribe to your channel would be used to or looking out for, then to just a random person, they're just thinking like, I don't know what that is, and I'm too lazy to click on it to find out next. And, you know, it's definitely hard, even with all the tips in the world these days, because of just how much crap there is on YouTube. There's just way too much, no matter how good your production is and your thumbnails and the title and all that stuff. It's like, it's just as easy to just get passed up for whatever. Sometimes I see something that I was about to click on, and then the next thing caught my attention, and I just decided that I was gonna watch that now instead of the other thing that I actually was thinking about clicking on. And it's like, yeah, the attention span thing, like, it really does work that fast. It really is like a 6-second window. Someone's like, oh cool, that guy's got a new video today. Oh, what's this thing? And then they just click on it before even having a thought. They just click on it, and then they might never go back to the thing that they actually were planning on watching. So it's a struggle. So, and I mean, I'm just barely getting my thing started. It's like at maybe like 1%. Yeah, you can play Fortnite on Nintendo Switch. It came out, it's been on Nintendo Switch for like 14 months now, so right over a year. It doesn't even feel like it. It feels like it came out like 6 months ago. And also, if you get a Nintendo Switch, there's also a bunch of free-to-play games, Paladins, and I always forget all the names of like Paladins and Fortnite and that other one. It always, Paladins and this other one, they always swap names in my head. Yep, Zelda fan, just start doing it. It doesn't matter what you got, you just gotta do it. I mean, my first video, I literally put my camera, which, it's an alright camera. I still sort of do videos with it from time to time. Most of my cameras are with my webcam up here, which, I don't know. For some people, I've seen some people with the same camera, they just have better lighting. Or a better face. And they just sort of say like, you know, you can still get like good lighting with it, and I've seen the quality on the same exact webcam be like really good, like where it actually seems like a decent kind of camera. not just a $60 webcam. And I've tried so many things to make it look like that, and there's been a few videos or like clips where the quality of it is like better than it usually is, and I don't know how to replicate the circumstances, and sometimes it just doesn't look as good. Like sometimes it just doesn't, and for others it does. So I don't know what's up with that, but my first video was the Yoshi's Crafted World terrible review, and so I just filmed my computer screen, and it came out terrible. You know, if you ever go to my channel and go scroll way down, I mean, at this point I have like, I don't know, 110 videos, and that's just over the past like 4 months, 4.5 months. But yeah, I just filmed the TV, and then I bought a $20 microphone. Well, it came to like $23 off of Amazon, and even that thing I was having trouble with, because sometimes the microphone would sound like decent. My voice would be nice and clear, crisp. It would sound good, and then I would just not use anything extra, not use any extra like recording programs or like audio, like separate programs, audio isolation, no tweaks, no nothing. I would just hit record just like all the other times, and sometimes it would just sound so bad. It would sound like a $6 microphone, and I would just be like, why can't I replicate this? And so same thing there, but luckily that's that's all, folks. Lighting can be a big thing. I got 2 windows over here, but I'm kind of over here in this with the peak wall here, so I kind of don't get that sunlight. I have this monitor here. If I move it out of the way, like I have my monitor here, it's zip tied to a drum cymbal stand, and I can move it out of the way and get a little bit more light. I've been trying to get up the steam to get everything out of the room and then kind of switch it. 'Cause if I turn my computer and put it this side, I have 15 feet going that way, and right now it's just like my electric drums and my regular drums and some tripods and a stack of drums and my guitar amp. Or I could put the computer down that end and have this be the background, maybe instead of the shelves and stuff being like right up against this wall with the peak going down. I can kind of bring it out and put the shelves here so that it kind of makes this peak wall like disappear a little bit, and then put my drums back here in this little cubby corner. But I just haven't, I used to change my room when I was like, I guess between maybe like the age of like 8 and like 19. I used to switch my bedroom around like 3 or 4 times a year, and I'd like put the bed here and move my whole TV and entertainment center and put it over here. And there was times where I would spend like 4 hours doing that, setting everything up and setting my TV up and my stereo and all the equipment for it, and putting everything on the shelf and dusting everything off and all that. And then I would just be like, I don't like how the lighting in here looks. And I wasn't like filming anything back then. I just had like moved the lamps and stuff around. I'd be like, I don't like this. And then I'd start unhooking. I'd unhook the whole stereo, the TV, and just basically spend the next 3 hours putting my room back to the way it was. And it would just be like OCD. I would just be like, no, I don't like this. And I would spend all day and change it back. And after doing that for years, where it would be like, oh, I haven't changed my room around in like 6 months. I better spend the next 6 hours doing that right now. Like, I kind of just got sick of doing that. And so now I don't really do that at all. So this room is I mean, it's not in need of, but I've been having the idea to just change it so that I can sort of update the look of it and have it be just better looking. Because you don't know till you try, and then if you switch the room around, it's like, I could probably come up with something that looks really decent to where it actually, you know, has its own identity as like a set. And it kind of does, I guess, even as of now, like if you're like a frequent watcher of pretty much anyone and they have some kind of background, it's like that becomes their identity, or like the room does to the videos. It's like, subliminally in there because you watch all the time. So if you watch often enough, you see it enough, and then you think of that person, and then if they just had a switch background all of a sudden one day, you'd be like, well, wait a minute, what did they, why did they change it? And it would almost like, not trigger you, but it would like get you thinking about it for a minute. So, I don't know, that's a big part of it, is like having a cool background. Mario Kart 8, I might be up for that. I don't know, what time, wow, it's 12:50. And I think, how long have I been streaming now? Streaming goes by very fast, I gotta say that. Am I doing a giveaway? No, not at the moment. I was doing a giveaway. I did do a giveaway for like a Nintendo Switch skin. And I kind of just did it on Gleam. And I don't know, I kind of hate Gleam. I've thought about doing like future giveaways, like I guess either in like a live stream. But I mean, they changed the way that it used to go, which I kind of wish you could still do it the way that it used to be, where you could set up Gleam and then basically force people to subscribe to you to enter, which, you know, isn't good because it just kind of gives false subscriptions. And I guess even for like big channels, this giant influx to where it makes it look like, or even small channels, it'll make it look like they're doing better than they are, and then none of that traffic will return because they're just there for the giveaway. But it'd be nice, I guess, if you could still do that. But you can't, so you kind of have to come up with your own way. So you can still do Gleam, and then you just have to make people follow like your Twitter and all that, which sort of helps. I mean, during the giveaway that I did, I had quite a few people follow me on Twitter that are still following me on Twitter. And that was out of like, I don't know, I think I have like 36 people following me on Twitter or something like that. Out of that number, probably like maybe like 14 or 15 or something like that came from just the giveaway. Oh crap, I needed that block. I should have saved it that time. Oh, I should have done that quicker. What are you talking about, the Movie King? I knew you were gonna be some kind of weirdo. Yeah, what do you gotta say, the Movie King? You gonna talk about naked boys, or is it time to block your ass? Because I'm not dealing with that. I always have some kind of weirdo come in on a late night stream and just say stupid things, and if you want to do that, you can go somewhere else and do that. Instead of, where do naked boys, and like say stupid shit in the chat. Like, I'm not having that here, so you can be normal, or you can just go away, or I'll just block you. Because some other people show up and they're like, hey, how's it going? Haha, oh yeah, that's cool. Start getting the conversation, and then just be like, oh, call me daddy, and just start saying like weird stuff. And it's like, if you're a little kid, just go somewhere else and do it. Like, why do you have to come here? Or why do you have to do it at all? Just don't do it. So yeah, there you go. I timed you out because I really don't even want to hear it. You know, for me it's almost 1 in the morning, so I don't know if you live in the US or, you know, it might be daytime for you, but it's like, find something better to do. I didn't even catch that for a minute because I wasn't looking. So I'm starting to get tired, so I wasn't focused on that. But it's like, you come in, you got like bad looking videos. You're like, hey, what are some tips for YouTube? I'm trying to get a Nintendo Switch. Can you see if Nintendo Switch has Fortnite? Like, I'm a Fortnite god. And like, I looked back up and saw like the things that you said, and it's like, you've got to be a young kid or of very low intelligence. I know that as much. So, yeah. Hopefully everyone else is having a good night. I'm gonna be probably finishing the stream up soon. And Zelda 64, I'm probably gonna pass on the Mario Kart, and then the next time I stream, maybe we can set that up, or if you pop in or whatever, maybe I can, you know, like, plan, like a time. Maybe we can do that. Yeah, I can't believe it's 1 in the morning already. Like, it's like after I looked at the clock and went, oh, it's 1, wow. I started streaming at like, I mean, I guess it makes sense. I started streaming at like midnight, or close to midnight, but it seems like time goes really fast when you're streaming and then just blabbing. And then I go, oh, really? It's 1 in the morning, which, like I said, it shouldn't be a surprise, but now my eyes feel like it's 1 in the morning, where they start getting like heavy. But then again, I used to just kind of like sit and stare at games and play lots of games. And now I don't do that. I play in like short 15-minute bursts. I walk away 10 minutes later, play for like another half hour, walk away. Like, I don't really play games like I used to. Even just like last year, I used to sit and play for 2 or 3 hours at a time, like uninterrupted. And now it's just not like that. I don't know why. It's like my attention span is like going away for it. It only holds for certain games. Like, I was playing like the Dragon Quest VIII demo a couple weeks back when it dropped. That held my attention. I bought Astral Chain, and I don't know why, but for some reason I've only played it in handheld mode, and I'm only like maybe an hour into the game, and for some reason I'm just not compelled enough to, I guess, put it on the big screen and play for like 3 hours straight, although I want to. I just find when it's like time to do it, I'm just like, I'll do it like after. Did you? I heard some people beat it in 1 day, and they said it was like, I don't know, 8 hours. You can beat it in like 8 hours, 10 hours, and then it depends, you know, if you bother with like side missions and all that kind of stuff. So, I don't know. Well, yeah. What did you think of it though? It looks crazy. Like, I saw some videos that were like from the Switch, like on Twitter, so like 30-second clips of just like a show off of what your character becomes and like the amount of skills that they have, like all beefed up somewhere probably like toward the end of the game. And I was like, man, that's pretty cool. Like, at that point, it's like a ballet between like you and your legion. You're just like whipping around each other, like flinging and flailing, and you have like this giant, like, they both just have these giant weapons, and it's just, you're like, man, with a bunch of enemies around, like, that would be kind of crazy. Yeah, I would probably spend more than that. I have a tendency to, like, dilly-dally. I'm always like, even when a game starts, like the first tutorial or whatever, I'm like peeking around every corner. I'm backtracking just to make sure I didn't like walk past anything. And that's from like 5 or 10 minutes into a game. And then I don't ever stop doing that. I'm never just like, oh, I just want to get to the next thing. Like, it's like a thing where it's like I almost can't continue until I know that I actually checked every little corner and made sure that I didn't just walk past something or miss something that could be, I don't know, cool or like a collectible, even though a lot of those things don't really matter in the long run. And I'm just like, I just gotta make sure. And I don't know why. I guess I've always done that with games. It's like kind of weird. But I'm glad the game at least sold well. Like we got, what, Daemon X Machina comes out tomorrow? Today? Did it come out tonight? Or is it, I think today's Friday. I was thinking it was Thursday for some reason. And I'm getting this, I'm getting a draft, like my door like open or something like that. And I'm just imagining it. Yeah, I think Daemon X comes out tomorrow. And that game is just gonna get run over. Like, I don't think anybody's gonna buy that game. Everyone's just like, oh, Link's Awakening and Dragon Quest and then Switch Lite, and then we're into October and whatever other games are coming, and then like Luigi's Mansion, and then Pokemon Sword and Shield, and then it's gonna be Thanksgiving, and then it's Christmas. And there's just no room for little old Daemon X Machina. But like, I guess one of the things that sucks about it too though is, what is it, Marvelous Studios? They're the one that's like, they're copyright claiming everything on that game, like gameplay and just literally everything. So it's like, people that want to showcase the game can't even get anything out on it. So it's almost like it's going to be kind of their own fault. Yeah, so it is out. So it probably came out, yeah, midnight. And I doubt anybody... I actually would like almost bet money that nobody's even playing it streaming right now because it's going to get claimed. So they would have to be like smaller YouTubers or let the video get claimed or just doing it for fun. Let's see. Yeah, there's... I typed in Daemon X Machina Live and nobody's playing it. There's all like the reviews from the past like couple days. And there's nothing. Even after the direct, I downloaded the newer demo for it, but I didn't really give it its time. I started playing it in handheld mode for like 10 minutes, and then I just kind of gave it up. So it is out. One of the games I want to play is this Blasphemous here. I'm kind of... There's so many games coming out for this system. It's unlike anything we've really ever seen before. Like, sure, some of them are trashy, like a lot of them are. But then in these like little clumps, like every other week or something, there'll be like 3 or 4 like decent looking games where you're like, oh, this one's like $12 and this one's $12. And this game here, this game actually looks pretty cool. It's got really good music. And I know it came out... I think this is the one that they put out on the Super Nintendo cartridge like last year, and then they also put it on, I forget what else they put it on. They like downgraded and made like another version. Then there's this Creature in the Well. That seemed like a good game before it came out. And some people said it was interesting. I still kind of want to play it because it's, you know, it's like a pinball, like Darth Vader lightsaber game. But Blasphemous, this game, like, man, I like the art style on this, and it's like really bloody and gory. But then I look and I go, huh, I could buy that. And then I start thinking about like all the other games that I still got to beat. And then I start coming into here, and like every day I'm looking in like the coming soon section. And there's always several new games that weren't there the day before, like Oliver's Adventure in Fairyland. Oh, actually, yeah, I looked at this, and this has the like Monster Boy look from back in the day. And for $7, that could be a good game. You know, we got this Star Wars game coming out, which is only $10, and chances are I'd probably buy it because it's $10, and it actually is a good game. Like, what is this? Freedom Finger. I think I looked earlier and that wasn't out, but it makes sense because now that Daemon X Machina came out, now there's more room for the next indie game. So it's like literally every day that there's 7 or 8 new games coming out, then in the coming soon section, you have like 7 or 8 new games taking that place. So batshit crazy space shooter Freedom Finger. So I don't know, that's weird because you're going from this like, says that like 80s like heavy metal kind of art style, and then you're going back into like, that's like Contra, like original Contra. And then this drawing here is like pig face, like Ren and Stimpy / like SpongeBob close up. And then we got like Hitler there, like fat. Look at that. It's like fat shirtless Hitler. You will fail. That's just, and you can't really tell what it is. Oh, that's right, Ori. So this, man, that's one I think I gotta buy. I've been looking at this game for like the past like 2 years on Xbox, and it's always like $17.99 at GameStop for Xbox One, and I never bought it because I was just like, I'm kind of like playing a bunch of stuff right now, and maybe if I get caught up, maybe I would play it again. But I pre-ordered Link's Awakening yesterday, and I was kind of upset. Hopefully I can still get the art book for it, like the Dreamer set. I like just missed it, and the girl, she usually helps me out. She gave me the pins for Fire Emblem Three Houses, even though none of the people that pre-ordered the game even like had been there yet. So she was kind of giving me their pins. So she did that, but she said that since the current manager, he probably got screwed on hours or something, and he stepped down, and she was like, I'm stepping down for like the next 3 months till after Christmas so that they don't shoehorn me into the position, because she knew that would happen. So she's like gonna be like very, very part-time, and if she was there, she would probably get the order in and then probably like help me out. And she was like, well, she's like, if we have extras or if more come in or anybody cancels it, you would be next in line. And I'm like, that would be awesome. But so yeah, today's the 14th now. And like, I'm actually surprised that there's people playing Link's Awakening now. Like, that actually surprised me. I didn't think that was going to happen, but I'm getting that. And then let's see, Ni no Kuni is 50. That might be one that I gotta skip or wait till it's like 20. But I really like the art style and everything. That seems like a game I might just play like straight through. And then that's right, Untitled Goose Game is on the same day. And then that's the same day that the Switch Lite comes out. What part of America am I from? I'm from Massachusetts. And then pretty much nothing for the next week. Contra. I don't know if anyone watched my video or if any of you guys went to the Japanese eShop and played the demo. Movie King XXX. Your comment was, where do naked boys? So you said stupid shit, and yeah, so now you're gonna say I didn't do anything. I didn't say where are naked boys. It's like, okay, you didn't just accidentally type that. You're like, where do naked boys from? I'm gonna do it silly. Tap, 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 tap. So then Dragon Quest comes out. And then all this other stuff. I mean, my birthday's the 28th, so pretty much for my birthday, I'm getting Ori and Dragon Quest and Goose Game and Link's Awakening. More than likely. And then this ukulele game actually looks kind of cool. Yeah, you can't spell, but you want tips for, but you know how to spell where do naked boys from. And then you're also a Fortnite god, but you're trying to get a Nintendo Switch, but you want tips for your YouTube channel, and then you want me to check if Fortnite is on the Nintendo Switch. But where do naked boys from? Yeah. Haha. Haha. That's so funny. So, oh, so now it's your texting to voice. So, yeah, okay. I definitely believe that. And then we got Doom 64, and then Doom Eternal is supposed to come out that day, and yet it's not on here, even though there's games that are further down the calendar that are listed. See, that's weird. And people said that it's confirmed through GameStop to be coming out the 22nd, but it just might be that this comes out and then Doom Eternal comes out on PS4 and Xbox, and then Doom Eternal maybe comes out late for the Nintendo Switch or something like that. Wow, Nintendo's getting good at announcing these games and then being like, you can pay for them now. Doesn't come out for like 5 months, but we'll take your money for it. Well, if you can't read but you can spell, but you're using your voice, except you're not typing, but you're using your microphone thing, because you can spell, but you can't type. So, or I can't read, but I can spell. That doesn't make sense. Hey, then if you don't like it, feel free to go away. I'm not trying to talk about you, but if you say, I can't read, but I can spell, then you're being like, where do naked boys from? And being like, I'm a Fortnite god. Can you check if Fortnite is on the Nintendo Switch? I'm not stupid. So you can get mad. And thank you for stopping by. I hope you have a good night. That concludes the D-Dub extravaganza for Friday the 14th. Mirage Sessions is great. That deserved. I never checked it out. I almost bought it. It was like $22 on Wii U a while back, but see, now that the Wii U is getting older, it's pretty much the Wii U section at my local GameStop is like bought out. Like the only things that are left is like another Wind Waker HD and Twilight Princess HD, and then a bunch of other games that are just in the blank case, like they don't even have the cases. For months, for like 2 months, I was looking at DuckTales Remaster. It was like $14.99, and I looked at it, and time after time after time, I looked at it, and I looked at it, and then there was finally that day where they're like, oh, they pulled it off the digital shops. And I went there the following day, and of course it was gone. So that's one that won't be coming back. Movie King / Triple X. You can't read or spell. I not. I don't know what to tell you. I just know what stupid sounds like through typing or voice to text or whatever you want to call it. You can make excuses, and even if they're not excuses, even if they're legit, then hey, I'm not trying to make fun of you. I don't make fun of people that can't help it, but there's like a limit to just being absurd, or to clearly being like stupid, being like ignorant, or like like having issues or learning disabilities, whatever. That's all fine and good, but there's a point where your own responsibility comes into play. So that's all I'm going to say. Anyways, it's late. And of course, Zelda N64 fan, you rule. And Crystal Kite, you rule. And the Movie King, I hope you have a good night. I don't think there's anybody else in the chat, the fourth person. Actually, well, it's not me anymore because my phone is in my pocket. So fourth viewer, that's not Movie King, Zelda N64 fan, or Crystal Kite. Thank you for watching. Am I still live?